think when you suddenly realise that the metaphorical rug can be pulled from under your feet quite quick at any point, it takes you into some pretty, not great places.
The air around Windsor feels colder, heavier, almost haunted. Moments ago, Buckingham Palace released a statement that sent shockwaves through Britain, leaving Prince William visibly shaken and the royal family in turmoil. Courtiers whisper of a personal loss. Others hint at a decision that could alter the monarchy's future. But what could have possibly driven the heir to the throne to such visible despair? Witnesses describe him as pale, distant, and broken. Something irreversible has happened, and the truth behind it will break your heart. The night. The palace fell silent. It began quietly. An ordinary evening turned extraordinary in a matter of seconds. As the sun sank behind the London skyline, a single notification appeared on millions of phones across Britain. Buckingham Palace issues urgent statement. Within moments, the rhythm of the nation shifted. News anchors fell silent. Programs were cut mid-broadcast and reporters rushed to the palace gates, their breath misting in the cold air as cameras blinked red. Something serious had happened. Something the royal family could no longer keep behind closed doors. Inside Kensington Palace, Prince William's world had already grown still. His private meetings ran late into the night. His schedule abruptly cleared of every engagement. Those who saw him earlier in the week spoke of a man holding back a storm, his smiles forced, his tone measured, his eyes heavy with unspoken weight. Whatever the statement contained, those close to him had sensed its shadow long before the rest of the country did. When the royal crest finally appeared on television screens, the tone was unmistakably somber. The statement was brief, just a few restrained lines in the palace's signature language of silence. His Royal Highness is deeply saddened by recent developments and requests privacy as the family navigates this difficult time. No names, no explanations, just words that sounded like a curtain quietly falling on something monumental. The world reacted instantly. Outside the gates, journalists read each word aloud with disbelief, while royal experts traded whispers about what might truly lie beneath. Was this about the king's declining health? A sudden decision about succession? Or something far more personal? Something that could shake the monarchy to its very foundation? Prince William had just returned from Norfolk, where locals described him as unusually distant, staring through crowds rather than at them. When asked about his father only days earlier, his reply had been simple, almost too simple. We take things one day at a time. Now, those words echoed with painful new meaning. For decades, the world had watched William grow, from the solemn boy behind his mother's coffin to the poised man reshaping the royal family's image beside Catherine. But tonight, cameras captured something raw, something real. As his car pulled through the darkened gates of Windsor, his expression was unreadable, yet his silence said everything. The lights inside the palace burned late, and witnesses reported the arrival of senior aides and family members for what seemed like an emergency meeting. Across the country, hearts grew heavy. Social media is flooded with concern, prayers, and theories. Was this the moment the monarchy's steady image began to crack? Was the future king now facing a truth that could alter everything? As dawn crept over the London skyline, the air remained thick with uncertainty. Every newsroom echoed with the same chilling question, one that no statement could silence. So what hidden forces are testing Prince William tonight, and could this pivotal moment quietly reshape the future of the monarchy? Stay tuned. A nation holds its breath. The palace gates remained tightly closed, the curtains drawn, yet every eye in Britain seemed fixed on Windsor. The Royal Communications Office released a short, carefully crafted statement that confirmed fears long whispered in private circles. King Charles would be stepping back from all public duties due to a serious medical condition. Though formal in tone, the statement carried unmistakable emotion. His Majesty is receiving the best possible care and has expressed full confidence in the Prince of Wales to oversee royal affairs during this period. In those few restrained lines, the delicate balance of the monarchy shifted in an instant. Prince William, who had kept largely out of sight for nearly a week, suddenly became the focus of a nation. Television anchors spoke of a quiet transition, and commentators began referring to him in terms previously unheard. acting sovereign temporary stewardship. It was not abdication, not yet, but it was the clearest signal that change had quietly begun. Outside, camera lenses turned to Windsor, hoping to capture even a glimpse of the man, now carrying both duty and grief. Inside, the atmosphere was tense, reverent, and heavy with unspoken fear. Staff moved carefully, speaking in hushed tones. Though doctors were cautiously optimistic, the uncertainty of the king's health cast a shadow over every corridor. In the early hours, William sat beside his father, the two exchanging a few words, yet every silent gesture radiating emotion. This was more than responsibility passing from one generation to the next. It was a sacred, almost invisible bond between father and son, between reigning king and heir poised to rise. Later, William emerged at the gates of Buckingham Palace to address a waiting crowd. He wore a dark navy suit, his face composed but etched with exhaustion. Cameras flashed as he stepped to the microphone. His voice, steady yet weighed with feeling, filled the chilled air. "My father has devoted his life to service. He continues to inspire strength, faith, and duty. As a family, we stand united and ask for your prayers." Though brief, his words carried the nation's collective heartbeat, drawing admiration, sympathy, and a quiet awe. Back at Windsor, Catherine kept their children close, preserving normalcy amidst the storm. Her presence had become William's anchor, the quiet strength beside the future king. In the coming weeks, she would take on additional public duties, signaling the couple's preparation for a period of intensified responsibility. As London's lights flickered into the night, news anchors described the day as historic, yet beyond the formal headlines, something profoundly human was unfolding. A son stepping into his father's role, not from ambition, but necessity. The day dawned over a grey, solemn London sky. Outside Buckingham Palace, a hushed reverence settled among the crowds. Church bells tolled softly, and well-wishers brought flowers and cards addressed to the king. Prince William began the day at Clarence House, surrounded by advisors, ministers, and senior courtiers, presiding at the long oak table his father once commanded with effortless composure. Faces turned to him for guidance, admiration mingling with sorrow. One official would later remark quietly, "It was the moment he became king in everything but name." Outside, the press maintained a relentless vigil. Helicopters hovered above Windsor, attempting to glimpse any sign of the king's condition, while inside, a delicate choreography unfolded. Aides coordinated between doctors and the Privy Council, drafting statements that balanced hope with caution. Catherine remained steadfast at the king's side, her presence both comforting and heart-wrenching. Later, William met with the Prime Minister at St. James's Palace, his face marked by sleepless nights, yet his voice measured and authoritative. Discussions focused on continuity, stability, and the line of succession, underscoring the immense weight that now rested squarely upon him. By evening, the palace confirmed the shift. The Prince of Wales had assumed additional responsibilities, fully supported by the royal household. That night, as the lights of Windsor glowed against the darkness, William stood on the balcony overlooking the silent gardens, thinking of his mother's quiet courage, his grandmother's lifelong duty, and his father's enduring devotion. The world was watching, yet in that solitary moment, he stood alone, not merely as heir, but as the guardian of a nation's heart, carrying the crown's unseen weight into a future already underway. Now, what do you think will truly test Prince William's strength as he carries the crown's hidden burden? Can he endure alone? Keep watching the weight of a nation. The palace courtyard, usually alive with the rhythms of daily life, now felt almost sacred in its silence. The announcement from the previous night had settled like a heavy shadow across the kingdom. While official statements remained careful and measured, the reality was unmistakable. King Charles was gravely ill, and Prince William had become the focal point of the monarchy. The transition was not marked by ceremony or fanfare, but by quiet sorrow, a gravity that seeped into every corner of Windsor. Outside the palace gates, the public responded in their own heartfelt way. A growing sea of flowers lined the paths. Children's handwritten cards fluttered gently in the cool breeze, while elderly citizens bowed their heads in silent prayer. Tourists moved cautiously, aware of the tension in the air, capturing photographs as if to preserve the weight of the moment. Across the globe, news networks broadcast live coverage, their anchors speaking in hushed tones as though louder words might disturb the fragile stillness within the palace walls. The country had entered a season of waiting, of quiet anticipation, and at its center was a man carrying both duty and profound personal weight, Prince William. That morning, he met privately with senior aides to prepare his first nationwide address since taking on the additional responsibilities of the crown. Every word mattered, every pause measured. The Prime Minister had been briefed, security tightened, and television schedules cleared to accommodate the historic broadcast. Inside Buckingham Palace, the mood was taut with solemnity. One aide later recalled William spending hours painstakingly rewriting his speech by hand. "It has to sound like me," he said quietly. "People need to know I am speaking from the heart." Meanwhile, Catherine moved through the palace with calm precision. She comforted staff, reassured children, and maintained a sense of order amidst the growing tension. Her quiet presence became the glue holding the household together, the anchor providing strength and steadiness even as her own heart bore the weight of the situation. By evening, the palace confirmed the address would begin at 8 p.m. As the hour approached, millions of viewers tuned in across Britain and around the world. The screen faded from the royal crest to Prince William, standing in the blue drawing room of Buckingham Palace, a dark suit framing his composed yet emotionally touched expression. He began, "My father has always been a man of vision, of faith, and of unwavering service. In this challenging time for our family, I want to thank you all for the kindness and compassion you have shown. The King continues to receive the best medical care, and we remain hopeful." He paused, allowing the weight of his words to settle. "As I take on additional duties, I do so with humility and with deep respect for the trust placed in me. My father taught me that leadership begins with service. That will remain my guiding principle." When the broadcast ended, the nation collectively exhaled. Across living rooms, cafes, and hospitals, people wiped away tears, feeling the gravity of a future quietly unfolding. The words had not declared tragedy, but they carried the undeniable weight of change. That night, as London's lights dimmed, it was clear the monarchy had crossed an invisible threshold. The future had arrived, and Prince William had stepped fully into it. Calm, resolute, and heartbreakingly human. What unseen challenges await Prince William as he carries the crown's weight? Can he honor the past while shaping an uncertain future? Stay glued between duty and destiny. The morning after Prince William's address, Britain awoke to an unusual stillness, as if the entire nation had paused to absorb the weight of his words. The speech had traveled far beyond palace walls, stirring admiration, empathy, and an unspoken awareness that something irreversible was unfolding. For the first time, the public saw not only a prince, but a man burdened by love, responsibility, and the delicate tension between hope and farewell. The monarchy had quietly entered a new chapter, yet no one dared name it aloud. Dawn broke gently over Windsor Castle, casting soft light across its historic grounds. Inside, the corridors carried the scent of fresh flowers sent by citizens and leaders worldwide, mingling with the quiet hum of aides moving discreetly from room to room. King Charles remained under close medical supervision, his private suite accessible only to a select few. Prince William had spent much of the night by his father's side, holding his hand in silence, each gesture weighted with unspoken understanding. Though doctors spoke with caution, their faces revealed a story no one wished to hear aloud. By mid-morning, Catherine arrived, her presence calm, composed, and reassuring. She embraced Camilla softly. The two women united in shared strength during this tense and uncertain time. Behind closed doors, they spoke briefly of the children, of maintaining normalcy amidst the public gaze, and of carrying the heavy mantle of duty. Catherine's quiet grace had not gone unnoticed. Newspapers praised her as the steady heart of the royal family, a pillar of resilience in the storm. Outside, the palace lawns were filled with reporters, cameras trained on every window, yet even the press seemed subdued. There was no sensationalism, only respect. The gravity of the moment had silenced even the loudest voices. Analysts and commentators replayed William's address endlessly, dissecting every pause, every flicker of emotion. One royal historian noted, "He's not just leading the family, he's preparing the nation for what comes next." That evening, William, accompanied by Catherine, met privately with senior members of the Privy Council and the Archbishop of Canterbury. Though the meeting was not officially announced, insiders later revealed it focused on constitutional preparations, careful discussions designed to ensure a smooth transition if the unthinkable occurred. Every word was deliberate, every decision measured, reflecting the gravity of the responsibility now resting on William's shoulders. As the sun sank behind the palace towers, William stepped alone into the gardens. The soft golden light touched the grounds in a quiet glow, yet his mind was heavy with the reality that time was slipping away. Every monarch before him had faced this moment, the shadow of loss that precedes the crown. He whispered a few words to the wind, words meant only for him and God. Across Britain, as twilight descended, a quiet ritual unfolded in countless homes and streets. Candles flickered in windows, their soft glow a delicate symbol of hope, solidarity, and the shared vulnerability of a nation in mourning. People paused in their daily routines, bowing their heads in silent reflection, feeling the intimacy of a moment that transcended politics or protocol. For decades, the public had observed the royal family's unshakable composure, a model of endurance in the face of challenge. Yet now, there was a rare sense of fragility, a human truth laid bare. The following day promised another official statement, but in that fleeting, fading light, Prince William remained suspended between two worlds. One clung to the memory of the past, to the presence of his father and the legacy he had built. The other waited patiently for the new king to step forward. Every glance, every breath, carried the profound weight of history pressing relentlessly upon him. Could Prince William truly balance personal grief with the immense burden of a nation's expectations? And what unseen challenges lie ahead? Stay with us. A nation mourns, a king rises. The words from Buckingham Palace pierced the morning air with the weight of centuries. It is with deep sorrow that His Royal Highness, the Prince of Wales, announces the passing of His Majesty, King Charles III. For a heartbeat, it felt as though time itself had stopped. Television stations cut into every program, news anchors' voices trembling as the reality sank in. A new day had arrived, but it came cloaked in grief. Across the nation, hearts ached, and across the globe, eyes turned to Windsor, watching history unfold. At the castle, black flags were raised to half-mast, flapping softly in the gray morning sky. Inside, Prince William stood alone at a window, gazing outward, absorbing the enormity of the loss. His father, his guide, mentor, and the man who had prepared him for this moment was gone. Yet the weight of duty pressed immediately upon him. Minutes stretched into hours as aides and officials moved swiftly and quietly, enacting Operation Menai Bridge, the meticulously planned procedure for a monarch's passing. Every movement, every decision carried precision and reverence. The young prince, who had once walked solemnly behind his mother's coffin, now stood on the threshold of the crown. Catherine entered the room softly, her eyes red from emotion but resolute. She took William's hand, offering quiet support, their shared grief unspoken, yet profound. For a fleeting moment, they simply stood together, two hearts tethered in sorrow and strength. Then William exhaled and turned from the window. "It is time," he said. Guided into a private chamber, he met the members of the Privy Council. Cameras were absent, but the significance of the moment was monumental. With solemn oaths and the stroke of a pen, the Prince of Wales became King William V. The monarchy had a new sovereign. Outside Buckingham Palace, thousands had gathered, holding candles and photographs of the late king. Some wept openly, others stood quietly, their heads bowed in reflection. Reporters spoke of unity, resilience, and the deep enduring connection between the royal family and the nation it serves. Across the world, messages of condolence poured in from presidents, prime ministers, and dignitaries, a reminder that King Charles's life and reign had touched far beyond Britain's shores. Amid ceremony and protocol, King William remained deeply human, a son mourning, a father striving for strength for his children, a husband leaning on the quiet steadfastness of Catherine. That evening, he addressed the nation from Buckingham Palace. His voice was steady, yet his eyes bore the sorrow of profound loss. "My father lived his life in service. He taught me that leadership is not about power, but about compassion. Today I promise to continue that legacy, to serve with integrity, faith, and love for the people of this nation." When the speech ended, a profound silence settled across living rooms, streets, and towns throughout Britain. It was not the shock of sudden news that hung in the air, but a deep, collective reverence. Candles flickered late into the night in windows from London to Edinburgh, soft beacons of mourning and hope. The reign of King Charles had come to its close, and the era of King William had quietly, irrevocably begun. Across the nation, grief and anticipation intertwined, hearts heavy with loss, yet lifted by the sense of continuity and duty. From a son's private heartbreak to a public ascension, William now bore his father's legacy with solemn dignity. Centuries of royal tradition and the weight of the crown pressed upon him as history unfolded before the eyes of a watching world. Every moment charged with anticipation for the days ahead. So what do you think lies ahead for King William as he steps fully into his father's legacy? Will he transform the monarchy or face unseen challenges? We'd like to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.